Hey guys, it's Amy for A Stitch For You on Etsy, and this is another video tutorial. This one is for the new stuffy puffy ears, as you can see in here, and I wanted to show you what we're going to start with. Here's all our supplies. Whoa! And we're going to get started, alright? Give me 1 second. Okay, so our first step is creating the guts of the ear, and that is, for this one, done with 2 pieces of stiff felt, and we are going to do steps 1 through 3. First one being your placement stitch. So we'll go ahead and get that started for you guys. And then we're going to tack down the front, and then we're going to stitch on the back, okay? Okay, so there's your placement stitch. I'm going to spray with my spray adhesive. A little on there. And I'm using black thread so you guys can see where it goes. And now we're going to tack that down. Okay, there's our placement, or our tack down for the front. Sorry about that. And we're going to take it off and turn it over. And we are going to put the back piece on and tape it down. And if you haven't watched my other videos, you know that I like to use medical tape because it doesn't gum up your needles, but it has a nice hold on it. So we tape that down. Now we're going to put those two together with step 3 of the inside of your stuffy ears. 1 sec. Okay, so this is what it looks like. You're going to set this one aside and do the same thing to a second one. And these have to be in separate hoopings because of their size. And then we'll move on to the fabric. Okay, so go ahead and do the second one. Okay, so now guys, I wanted to show you, we're going to be cutting the fabric for our ears. And what I did is I stitched the ear steps on stabilizer and clear vinyl, and I came up with a template so that I always have the perfect print placement. So now I can use this as my guide, and I'm going to pick out where I want to center my ears. And then I'm just going to cut out around that ear guide, and then I'm going to iron on some Heat and Bond Light, because that's the one that can be sewn through. Onto the back, I'm using cotton lycra fabric, so it has some, let me show you, it has some stretch to it. See that? Which when you're stuffing your ears is really helpful. You can use cotton woven, you just won't have the stretch, so your shape won't be quite as it won't be quite as even, if that makes any sense. So that's how you can see what they look like there. Okay, so that's what that's why I like the cotton lycra. So I'm going to pick out my princesses and cut those out. Give me 1 sec. Okay, so here's the 4 that we're going to use on this set of ears. And you can see how I cut it out and ironed on the stuff on the back. And if you use your handy guide here, you can see exactly where they're going to line up on the ears. See? So cute. And now we will take them over and get those steps started. So I'll see you in a sec. Okay, so now we are going to move on to stitching the ear shape. And first you start with your placement. All right. Okay, so we've got our placement. We're going to add our spray adhesive. Just hardly any, and I'm actually going to do it on the edges. I don't know if you can see that. Because we want to be able to tear all the stabilizer off. And if you use too much spray, you won't be able to get it off. And I've got my Aurora piece here. And I'm just going to try to eyeball where I want it. Sort of, kind of. And she goes face up. You don't want it too high because some of the ear, is rounded. So now we're going to tack that down. Just one sec. Okay, so now we've got the tack down. Let's see if I can get that right there. There you go. Of our first side of our ear. And I'm going to slide this back in here a little bit to hold it. Sorry. And, oh, there's my toe. Now for your back piece, here's my Snow White. It's got the heat and bond light on the back. And now I'm going to try to reverse line it up. This is your back, and it's going right on the top because we're going to flip them inside out. And remember, again, you don't want her too close to the top line, or her head will be curved under. And that would be bad. Well, it would look bad. Okay, so let's see. Alright. So we got Snow White on there. I like to tape just the edge down so that it doesn't tend to move. Every now and then it'll stick. Alright. And we're going to stitch that one down. Okay, so that did your tack down of the back. Now you're going to go ahead and do that for the other ear as well with your 2 pieces. So you need 4 total pieces of fabric. You go ahead and do that second one, and then we'll stitch the bow. Okay guys, now we're going to do the stitching of the giant squish bow. It's only 3 steps. It's going to be a placement, a tack down, and then the final bean stitch. So here we go with the sorry, I'm a hot mess, with the placement stitch. Okay, so now you've got your placement. I'm going to do just a light spray of adhesive spray. And then we're going to put down our fabric. I'm using a stretch lame from Joann's. It's super sparkly and pretty. Should go great with our princesses. Again, you could use a woven, but I like the stretch when I stuff it. Okay, so this will be your tack down. Okay, now we've got that on. We're going to lay our back piece on face down. And just tape the corners just a little bit to keep most of it in place. And there we go. Slide that back on there, and you're going to tack down the back. Okay, so you've got that. So we're going to set this one aside and do the strap. Give me one sec. Okay, so same basic 3 steps that we usually have. Placement, tack down, and tack down of the back. Just remember, when you put your front down, your back always goes face down, so that when you are done stitching, you can turn them right side out. Okay, so I'm going to stitch the strap, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so you've got your pieces here. Now you're going to want to tear off your stabilizer from your bow and your ear pieces. Okay, so I got everything torn off stabilizer wise, and you can see you even tear it off on the inside of your design. And you'll notice on the ears that there's 2 lines and that they're not exactly in the same spot. That's on purpose. So we're gonna trim the guts of the ear and the bow with our regular scissors, and then we're gonna trim the ear fabric with pinking shears. So give me just one sec and I will start cutting those out. For the ears, guts, you want to trim close to the line, but don't cut it, not right on top. Okay. So you'll notice on your guts that the tab is only sewn on one side. So you can cut it out with that. But I'm going to show you, I do it a little bit different, and I actually don't use the tab on the bottom of mine. Okay. So you're going to want to cut these out. And I like these little, I think they're 4-inch scissors from Ginger, but they're super sharp, and you can get them on Amazon. Some Joann's carry them. Mine discontinued them, so that's a bummer. But you can see the amount I'm leaving here, so you're not cutting your stitch. Okay. And I won't make you watch me cut both of them. It's just to show you the amount, because that would make my video super long, and I'm pretty sure you guys can all cut. Just make sure that you leave enough space. Okay. And then snip your threads there. So that's your guts of your ear. Okay. It's 2 layers of tearaway. 2 layers of stiff felt. All right, I'm going to do the other one. Okay. I got the guts cut out. Now I'm going to cut out the strap for the bow, and you'll notice on one side that the ends are open. So you're going to start with that, and you're going to make little tab ends that you can tuck in once you're done. Okay? If you don't do this, you're going to be all messed up. Okay, so I start there, then I turn it over, and then I just cut these pretty close. And you gotta have really sharp scissors, or this stretchy fabric will cut yucky. Okay. So we're just gonna cut that out. And then you're gonna use a fabric turner or a small stick or a chopstick to turn it inside out. And that's gonna be your center. Okay, so you just start it, and then you pull it through, and you need a turner or a stick. Chopsticks work really easy, and everybody has those. Well, maybe not. But yeah, okay. So then you're going to turn that right side out. And now I'm going to cut the bow out, okay? Okay, so I cut out the bow, and see I left the little tab at the bottom again. That's so that when you turn it like this, now you're going to turn it inside out. And you're going to poke your corners in. Like so. Get your seams all good there. Then when you stuff it, you still have your tabs out. Sorry about that. Okay, so then it's turned right side out, and you have your tabs out, so that after you stuff it, you can tuck them in and glue it shut, or sew it shut, hand sew it. That's going to be our bow, and we will stuff that in a minute. So we'll set that aside. Now, for cutting these guys, let me switch scissors. All right. So, you're going to start on the side that has the tab, and we're going to use our pinking shears to get it to lay flat once we turn it. Sorry for mine are so old. And make sure you don't cut. You want to cut close to the outside stitch. Just don't cut it or you'll be a mess. All right, just give me 1 second. Okay, so we're cutting the ears, and actually, I totally forgot what I was doing, you guys. I'm so sorry. This one, so this outside, I don't know if you guys can see. Let me see if I can get it to focus on there. Ah, oh, so nice. So the black stitch, you guys, is a basting stitch, and we can actually cut closer and cut into that, or you can pull it out after you're done if you want. If you flip your ear over, you're going to see where the pink stitch is. And then look, see, if I did it this way, you'd have a huge margin. And when you flip it, it wouldn't round out very well. So your best bet is to do it this way and cut on this side. And then you can actually cut in closer, but just don't cut into the pink stitching. Okay, it doesn't give you much to work with, but I'm going to show you here the difference. See, I didn't cut into the pink, but see the difference, how much closer that is. So that's what you're going to want to do. Okay, so go ahead and we're going to cut into that basting stitch, and then I'm going to go in with my sharp scissors here, and I'm going to do it flipped over, and I'm going to cut in each valley. Just snip it, but don't snip the pink. Okay, it's a lot of little snips. However, it will make turning it look great. Okay, all right, so I'm going to stop it. So we flipped the center of the bow, and I tucked in the corners. That's what they're going to look like right there. So you're going to tuck them in, and actually that one needs to be tucked in a little bit more so that you don't see the stitching. And then you just flatten it back out so that you have a nice edge there. Okay, so that's the center of your bow. So it's ready to be glued. We'll do that in just a sec. And now we're going to stuff our bow. And you just want to take small amounts of your fill. And my tip of the day is that if you don't have any handy, you can get the IKEA pillow inserts. And they're super inexpensive. And cut one open and use that. It's great. It's great stuffing. All right, let's see here. So you're going to want to get it up there in the corners. Make sure your corners are out nicely. All right. See that? It's getting stuffed in there. And you can make these bows as full or as not full as you want. This is a larger size than we put in the, I don't like that piece, in the flat A Stitch For You ears. It can be used with those, but it fits this larger ear size better. So I'm going to put this over in this side. I tend to leave the center unstuffed so that it lays right. And you just want to try to use equal amounts. So then see that in the tabs are already kind of folding in. And let's see, it looks like I've got more on one side. You're just trying to make it even and get your corners to look good. Pushed under there. Do a little bit more in this side. When I first did this bow, I overstuffed it and it was ginormous. And with the stuffy, puffy ears, it was just a little too much. So I've learned that less is more. So basically you can see how it's going to look if you squish up your center. Look at that, so cute. But see how that corner looks empty. So then you know that you need to kind of finagle it with your fingers there. That's better. A little more even, I think. Let's see. Well, still needs some down there. You can always move it around once it's made up too. And then see how this, let's see, I have to turn it this way. This seam is coming more forward than you would want it. So you're just gonna move it. And then you can also decide which side you want as your front. I think we might flip that around. Because it seems to be leaning that direction anyways. But if you look at your the fill here, you can kind of see that it's fuller here than on this side. So you just kind of want to move it around with your fingers and maybe add just a little bit more on that side as evenly as you can. And again, I keep it out of the center because it seems when you're squishing it up that it's easier to do that way. There we go. So see, that corner is a little funky. But yeah, oops, turn it towards you. Ooh, that's gonna be so cute. That needs to be pushed up in the corner more. There we go. So it's important to get it into your corners and to make sure that your corners are turned all the way. So you don't have a goofy looking bow. So let's see, close that guy up, cinch it, looking cute. All right, so we'll glue that together in a second. Actually, we can go ahead and glue it now. And I'm using these glue sticks here. The Gorilla Hot Glue Sticks. Ooh, make everybody totally dizzy. They are a high temp. They're actually all kinds of temps. You can, not really a low temp. And just don't glue your fingers together. That would be terrible and sore. You can use super glue if you want. I've heard that, I know that the Loctite, this one needs to go under more too. The Loctite super glue works really well. People have talked about the temperatures in Florida and the hot glue, and it's kind of across the board. Some say yes, there's a problem. Some say no. If you're worried about it, then I would probably go with the, what do you call it? Super glue. The Loctite method. We will have 2 videos as far as putting these together because of course there's always, you know, different ways to do it. So you can watch both and then follow whichever one you think you would like better. But so there's our center, and now we're going to glue along here. If you go like this, you can kind of see where they would line up evenly, sort of, kind of. There we go. So we're just going to go right in here. Again, don't glue yourself. And kind of pull it tight so you can see it naturally line up. You'll have less likely to have any showage there. I think I'm making up words today. I'm a little hoarse too. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so you can see that I have a little bit. It doesn't go right to the edge, and that's okay because that's going to be the bottom of your bow. And since we were holding it like that, you're going to want to move your stuffing around again and get it all back where it needs to be. And see, it's kind of wishy-washy right now. But those 2 are ready, so we'll set those aside up there. And now I'm going to flip my ears inside out. You can see that whoa, that I went ahead and trimmed these. All right, so I'm going to flip them inside out, and then I will show you how to put the guts inside. Okay, so we've turned our ears, and you can see they are so beautiful. There and there, and you can see how nice and round they are. All the edges are pushed out so nicely. So now we're going to add our guts, and one of these goes in each ear, and you're going to kind of roll this. It's kind of hard because it's stiff felt and it's stabilizer, so you just kind of burrito it enough that it's can fit inside here, and hold it shut until you get it up in there, up to the top, because it's going to open like an accordion. And then you straighten it out inside there. Sort of. It's kind of a learning curve here, you guys. And you want it to go all the way to the edge. Look at that. Okay. And if you look inside here, oh, there's your guts. Okay, and we're going to add stuffing on either side of the guts, so to the back and to the front. So now I'm going to do the other one like that. Whoops. Just kind of, I'm telling you, it's kind of hard to roll it. And you don't really want to fold it. You don't want to put lines into it that could possibly show once you have it in your ear. If that makes any sense. If it doesn't, feel free to message me or ask on the Stitch For You page. So we got that in there. There's many ear tutorials out there, you guys. This one just utilizes your embroidery hoop for the insides and the stitching. There you go. And you'll feel it actually goes almost all the way to the edge. Okay, see how nice and tight that looks? I suppose you could glue them on like this and they'd be thin. Just with the guts in there. But now we're going to add stitching. Okay, and you have your ends after we get it stitched, then you'll just tuck those inside before you glue it onto the headband. Okay, so we'll start with Tiana, and you're gonna kind of flatten it out before you put it in there, and I would always start with less because you can always add more. So I'm actually gonna take that in half, and you don't have a lot of space to work with. But I try to put it in there and kind of push it up to the top with 2 fingers, and then you're just gonna put the rest in there, or that other piece. And this is totally personal preference as to how stuffed you want them. My girls, when I made the other set, here I'll move that more into the frame so you can see kind of how puffy they are. These are super puff. My girls called them the stuffy puffy ears. My 9-year-old is in love with them. So that's what we're going with over here, stuffy puffy ears. And you can already see it's puffing out on this side. I like to add some like so. To one side, and then go in and add some to the other so that you can kind of go back and forth and keep it even. And then you want to kind of roll it so that your seam stays on in the middle. Okay. I kind of fan out the stuffing before I put it in there so I don't have clumps inside that I can't get to. And I watched a bunch of YouTube videos. There's custom fabric groups. These 2 fabrics that I used on these 2 sets are both cotton lycra and are both from a fabric group on Facebook called BCD. and they make amazing fabrics. But there are many, 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 many amazing fabrics out there that you can use. I think I need to do a Star Wars set. Okay, so I did that side, and you can kind of see how it's making that other side kind of pull. So now we're going to stuff this side so that we can even it out a little bit and hopefully get it in there. And this side's tighter, obviously, because we've already stuffed it. But if you were using woven, you would not be able to make them as puffy. You'd have a lot less leeway. This is the CL, so it stretches real nice. Even with the Heat and Bond light on the back, it stuffs up. I mean, it still stretches a little bit. It just gives it some stability when you're sewing with it. And you want to just keep your fingers going around when you're stuffing to keep your shape nice and round. That made Rapunzel's head look really big. Huh? Big-headed Rapunzel. But see how my edge went to the front? So then we're just going to kind of hand roll it back. And then if you look this way, you can see it's not even. So that kind of tells you like how to move your stuffing around to get it nice and even. This part of the process does take a while just because, you know, if you're making them for yourself, or your kids, I suppose that it's not as important to get it even. They're going to love them any way you can. If you're going to make them to sell, you're going to want them to be nice and even and, you know, semi-professional looking. And you can see there. Oops. And see that little bump right there? That tiny bump will be covered up when we add like a trim on the edge. And you don't have to add, a lot of people don't add a trim. And you can see now we need to add some, whoops, let me turn it this way, some stuffing down here because it goes down. But you can see how they're rounding out real nice. And these aren't super stuffy. They're not as stuffed as the other ones. I think I went a little crazy on those. Those are super stuffy puffy ears, as my girls would say. And you want to make sure that you're getting them even also so that they are structurally sound. The more even the pressure points, and they'll lay nicer. So we added some to Rapunzel. See, she's rounding out real nice. And now we're going to add some more on the Tiana side. You just kind of go back and forth till you get them how you like them. And every pair is different. So just know there's no right or wrong amount to use. And it's not a preset determined amount either. You really have to just play with it and always just keep moving it. Make sure that you're getting it all the way to the edge though, or your edges will look all kind of goofy. So you can see now we're getting there. Keep that seam on the, as you know, as close to the top as you can. And see, there's not as much pushed over here, and you can kind of see where the seam is showing more. So what you want to do is put your finger in there and kind of push your fill up so it's even enough, and then you have room to put more in. And you can always take it out. I mean, until it's glued down, you have time to, or you have space to take it in or put it in. You could also add lights at this point. If you have any of the motion lights, you could slide them in here. That's kind of fun. And you would see it at night or in the dark when you go on a ride. And of course, don't forget your ear holder when you're doing stuffy ears, because you wouldn't want to put this gorgeous headband in your backpack and have it get all squished and ugly. You know what I mean? So then you want to make an ear holder to match. Okay, so this one's looking pretty good. And that didn't take too long. And then you want to make sure here, these will get tucked in, but you want to make sure that you've got it pretty much all the way down to the bottom. See, this one's got a big gap right here. So then we'll put a little down there. Oh, I sound so gravelly. I'm sorry. I don't know why I have such a scratchy voice today. Too much talking at back to school night, I guess. Okay, so is that making sense? I hope. And actually, I think Rapunzel could use a little bit down here. Oh, I've got a piece that wants to go on both sides. Pick a side. Pick a side. Okay. Stay in there. Now. Nope, see? When you go to tuck this in, if you've got a dead spot right here, you're going to want to add some, because when you go to put it on your headband, it will, it'll leave a gap, and it will, your fabric will wrinkle, and that will look yucky. So, let's see if that worked a little bit better. There we go. So then this method, we're going to tuck this in. Tuck in, come on. And then move your stuffing so that it kind of fills it out. Okay. Ooh, it's looking so pretty. I love this fabric. The colors are beautiful. So now on this side, yeah, Rapunzel's, this side's not as stuffed out. And it's funny, you'll think that you're done, and then you'll look at it from a different angle, and you go, oh, wait. Hang on a minute. I need more over there. And you can also feel when you put your finger in here. Can't really show it, but you can feel where you're touching the guts, the stiff felt, and like where you want to put more, if that makes any sense. I'm going to round this one out a bit. See, we just like them stuffed. We're in Texas. Bigger is better, right? Everything's bigger in Texas. At least that's what my mom says. Okay. So there, she's rounding out a bit. And if you look at it from this side, and you can kind of squeeze your seam to move your stuff around too. Whoops. So fuzzy. Okay, so that one, well, it keeps coming out, but that's okay for now. So now we're going to stuff the bottom, and then I'm going to turn the video off so that I can stuff the other ear. And this video isn't too long, but this will be part 1, and there's going to be a part 2, so make sure you are going to watch both. In the next one, we will cover the headband and attach everything together. Okay? So look at that. It's so cute. It is adorable. Okay? So then we're going to tuck this one in as well. And then we're going to make sure that, and you can see your foam there. No, not foam. What am I talking about? Stiff felt. There are methods where they use a foam in the center. And our other video shows that way. Okay? So basically, we're going to look at doing it like this. Oops. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. All right. So that is part 1, and we will do and then move on to the part 2 video. And we will have the other ear stuffed, and we will attach everything, okay? All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.